Hey everyone. Before we dive into today's story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is there. It really helps YouTube recommend more stories like this one to you. Alright, let's jump right in.
The second I noticed the mirror fog up from the outside, I knew something was wrong. I hadn't taken a shower yet. The bathroom door was wide open. There was no steam, no heat, no reason for the mirror to cloud up like that, except that someone else had just breathed on it. I froze, toothbrush still in my mouth, foam collecting on my lip. I could see the fog slowly evaporating, curling around the edges of the mirror like fingers letting go. I stood there, completely still, listening. Silence. Not quiet. Silence. The kind that feels pressurized, like the air's been sucked out of the room. Like the walls are holding their breath. My apartment's always been too quiet. It's a tiny studio downtown, exposed brick, decent view, old plumbing that moans at night. I moved in 2 months ago. The landlord said the last tenant broke lease and left in a hurry. Red flag, I know, but the price was unbeatable, and I'd just gone through a breakup, so I didn't care. That was before the mirror started acting weird. At first, I thought it was just a warped panel. Old buildings settle weird. But some nights when I'd walk past it, I swear it would shudder. Not like it was loose, like it had depth. Like a pool of water reacting to something inside it. Last night was the first time I saw the handprint. It wasn't mine. I checked. It was too small, like a child's, but the fingers were too long. Smudged across the lower corner of the glass, pressed like whoever left it had been inside, reaching out. I wiped it off. Told myself it was condensation, or leftover from the last tenant. But this morning, with the fog and the breath and that feeling like something was in the room with me, I couldn't just brush it off. I finished brushing my teeth, heart pounding, and leaned in to rinse my mouth. The moment my face got close to the mirror, I felt it, cold air, right against my skin. I jerked back. My bathroom window was closed. My vent doesn't even work, but the mirror was cold. The surface was normal to the touch, but the air in front of it, it was like standing in front of an open freezer. Like something was drawing in warmth. I didn't sleep that night. The next few days were a blur. I started avoiding the mirror. I'd brush my teeth in the kitchen sink, do my makeup with the front-facing camera on my phone, but it didn't help. The feeling of being watched didn't go away. Sometimes I'd catch a flicker in my peripheral vision. A dark shape in the glass, gone the second I turned to look. Once, I swear I saw my reflection blink after I did. I even tried taking the video. I held up my phone, pointed the camera at the mirror, stood perfectly still, and watched. Nothing happened for the first minute. Then, right as I went to hit stop, my reflection smiled. I didn't. I dropped the phone. I checked the video. It glitched right when the smile happened. Froze on a distorted frame of my face, twisted and wrong. Eyes too wide, teeth too many. I deleted the video. By the end of the week, I was unraveling. I couldn't focus at work. I started locking the bathroom door, even though I live alone. I'd check the mirror obsessively, scanning for fingerprints, fog, anything. And then something changed. I started hearing things. Whispers. Low and raspy, like someone whispering from inside a jar. Muffled, but deliberate. I could never make out the words. It always came when I walked past the mirror without looking, like it was trying to get my attention. One night, I don't even know why I did it, I decided to press my ear to the glass. I stood there, lights off, apartment dead silent, and leaned in. The glass was cool. My breath fogged it up again. At first, there was nothing. Then, tap. Not loud. Just one soft tap from behind the glass. I stumbled back so fast I nearly slipped. My heart was racing. My legs felt like rubber. And still, even from across the room, I could see it. A new handprint. bigger this time. Pressed right where my face had been. That night, I finally tried to take the mirror down. It's one of those old, built-in ones. A big rectangular thing above the sink, probably glued into the wall decades ago. I pried at the edges with a screwdriver, tried to wedge something underneath. It wouldn't budge. But the more I worked at it, the more I realized something. The wall felt hollow. I tapped around the frame. Thump thump, drywall. Solid. Then tink tink, something different. Like metal. A vent maybe? I grabbed my phone and shone a flashlight around the edges, looking for a gap. And that's when I saw it. Not a gap. A lens, dead center, behind the mirror, embedded in a pinhole. It was a camera. I recoiled like it had burned me. A camera. In my mirror. My breath caught. My brain went blank. 1,000 thoughts slammed into me at once. Someone's been watching me. Every shower. Every change of clothes. Every moment I thought I was alone. I started shaking. Violently. I backed out of the bathroom. Locked the door and sat on my kitchen floor. Trying not to throw up. I called my landlord. No answer. I emailed. Nothing. I even went down to the office the next morning. It was locked up, lights off. Mailbox overflowing. The building super told me something that made my blood run cold. That guy moved out weeks ago. Didn't leave a forwarding address. That night, I went back into the bathroom, phone camera recording, flashlight aimed at the mirror. I wanted proof. Something to take to the cops, but the camera was gone. The hole was there. Same spot, but it was empty. Like someone had reached in and removed it. I stared at the hole for a long time, and then I noticed the mirror looked wrong. Like it wasn't reflecting quite right. My bathroom has this soft yellow light. Warm, cozy. But in the mirror, the light looked colder. More sterile. Like a different room entirely. I leaned in closer, squinting. That's when I saw it. My reflection was smiling again, but this time. So was the version of me behind the reflection. There was someone standing in the mirror behind me. Me. But not me. Same face. Same clothes. Same everything, except the smile. And the eyes. Too wide. I turned around, nothing there, turned back. She was closer. Hand on the glass. That was the first time I screamed. I haven't looked in a mirror since. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't even sit down. I kept all the lights on and waited for the sun like a kid scared of the dark. Except this time the dark wasn't the part I was scared of. It was the reflection. Every shiny surface in my apartment felt dangerous. Even my phone screen made my stomach clench. I caught myself turning it face down constantly. At one point I unplugged my TV because the black screen made me feel like something was watching. I kept thinking about that last moment. The other, me, with her hand pressed to the glass, and the smile. God. That smile. Not wide, not exaggerated, just wrong. Like she was enjoying something I wasn't supposed to know existed. By morning, I had a plan. Leave. Just leave. Pack clothes, laptop, toothbrush, and go stay with a friend. Anyone. Anywhere. I didn't care. I grabbed a duffel bag and started throwing things together. But every few minutes, I'd stop because I swore I heard something behind me. A soft scrape. A low breath. Footsteps too light to be real. When I walked past the bathroom, I held my own breath and kept my eyes down. I didn't even want peripheral vision near the mirror, but then something happened that made my knees almost give out. As I passed the bathroom door, I heard me. My voice whispering. Right through the open doorway. I froze. Duffel bag strap cutting into my palm. I listened. At first, it sounded like soft breathing. Then a murmur. Then words, faint, drowned in static, but it was my voice. My cadence. My tone. And it was coming from directly in front of the mirror. I backed away slowly. My chest tightened so hard I thought I'd pass out. The whispering got clearer, like whoever was speaking could sense I was staying to listen. I heard, "Don't leave." My whole body went cold. I didn't answer. I didn't even breathe. Then louder, sharper, "Don't leave." I dropped the duffel bag and bolted. I ran outside the building in slippers and a hoodie. Didn't even lock my door. Just got out. I sat in my car shaking so hard I could hear my keys rattling. I didn't know where to go. My parents lived 4 hours away. My friends were busy or lived with roommates. And how do you explain something like this without sounding insane? Still, I ended up driving aimlessly. I parked in random lots and watched people walk by. Anything to not be alone in that apartment. Around noon, I finally forced myself to call the police. I didn't mention the smiling reflection or the whispering. I told them about the camera, the hole, the moving landlord, the missing device. That part was real enough. They sent someone to meet me at the building later that afternoon. Going back inside felt like walking into a mouth. Everything was too quiet, too still, like the apartment had been waiting. The officer, a woman named Diaz, walked through first. Professional, calm. She inspected the mirror, the hole, the walls. She even shone a small flashlight inside. "It's deep," she muttered. "Deeper than the wall should be." That alone made my skin crawl. She said she'd call in maintenance to check behind the wall, maybe open it up. For the first time all day, I felt a flicker of hope. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Don't worry. I'll be right back. Just stay here for a moment." She left to get her toolkit from her car. Was alone again. In the silence. In front of the mirror. I stayed far from it, near the doorway. But I could still see the reflection from the angle. The light in the mirror looked wrong again, dimmer, like the room on the other side didn't match mine. I kept my eyes down, focusing on my feet. But then, I heard it, the whisper. But this time, it wasn't trying to hide. It was breathing heavy, like something excited, anticipating. Slowly lifted my eyes. My reflection wasn't there. I was physically in the doorway, but the mirror showed the empty bathroom. No me. It took me a second to process that. My stomach flipped. My hands went numb. Then something moved in the mirror. The bathroom inside the reflection darkened slightly. Like a shadow passed overhead. My heart thudded painfully in my chest. A shape stepped into frame. Her. The other me. She was standing where I should have been standing, but she wasn't mimicking me. She wasn't doing what I was doing. She was leaning closer to the glass, hands flat, face pressing so hard her cheek distorted. And she wasn't smiling now. She looked hungry, like she wanted out. Her lips moved, slowly, deliberately. I couldn't hear the words. She leaned even closer. Her pupils huge and black, her breath fogging the inside of the mirror. Then she mouthed, very clearly, "Let me in." My legs gave out. I hit the floor, hard. The mirror shook. Actually shook, rattling against the tile like someone was pounding on the other side. Crab walked backward until my spine hit the hallway wall. My vision blurred. I was dizzy with terror. Then the pounding stopped. Total stillness. I braced for her face to appear. Again. It didn't. Instead, a small, thin crack stretched across the glass, starting dead center, spreading outward like a spider web. The mirror wasn't just a mirror anymore. It was thinning. Breaking. A barrier, wearing down. My breaths came short and sharp, like my lungs couldn't expand. And then, "Hey, you okay?" "Officer Diaz." I didn't realize she'd come back until she knelt next to me, her hand on my shoulder. She looked at the mirror, then back at me. "What happened?" I could barely talk, but I managed. "She's in the mirror." Diaz frowned but didn't laugh, didn't roll her eyes. Instead, she walked right up to the mirror and touched the crack. Her expression changed instantly. "Jesus, this glass is ice cold." I nodded, tears stinging my eyes. "I'm not crazy." "No," she said quietly. You're not. She stepped back, hand hovering near her holster like she wasn't sure what she was dealing with. She told me to pack a bag, stay with family, and leave the apartment. She'd file a report if the wall opened up. Alert building management. All of it. I didn't argue. I grabbed clothes, charger, laptop, didn't even fold anything, and we left together. I didn't look at the mirror on the way out, but I heard something. A faint tap like knuckles against glass. I stayed with my sister for a week. Slept with the lights on. Checked every reflective surface twice before looking into it. Officer Diaz emailed a few days later. They opened the wall. Behind the mirror. This is the part one wish I could forget. Behind the mirror wasn't just empty wall. Space. It was a small crawl space. About 3 feet deep. Inside was a folding chair, a blanket, piles of energy drink cans, a bucket, candy wrappers, and dozens of Polaroids of me taken through the mirror. Some while I was sleeping, some while I was showering, some while I was just existing. In every single photo, I'm doing something normal, brushing my hair, getting dressed, cooking, and behind me, in the mirror, there's a figure, a blurry, pale figure. Me. But not me. Officer Diaz said the crawlspace had been warmed recently. Like someone had been living there up until a few days ago. There was no sign of the person now. No fingerprints. No footprints. No tools. No camera. Nothing. Like they'd just vanished. Building management sealed the wall. The mirror was removed. I broke my lease and never went back. Tried to move on. Tried to pretend it was over. But I can't. Because for the last 3 nights, every time I wake up, no matter where I am, whose house I'm sleeping in, there's a foggy handprint on my bedside. Table's glass surface, smaller than my hand, too long in the fingers, pressed from the inside, and sometimes I swear I hear my own voice whispering from the dark, "Let me in." The second I stepped through his front door, I knew something felt off. Not in an obvious way. The house was clean, nice even. A little too perfect. Everything felt staged, like a listing photo come to life. The kind of place you'd see in a catalog. Not an actual home. He smiled at me, wide and casual, and said, "Make yourself comfortable." I smiled back, but my stomach tightened. The air inside was weirdly cold. Not freezing, but still. Like no one had opened a window or turned on the heat in days. There were no smells. Not food, not cologne, not laundry, nothing. Just cold, clean, silence. And it was silent. No TV, no faint hum of appliances. No distant traffic or neighbors. Just this heavy, unnatural quiet. Like the walls were muffling the outside world. I took a step inside, slowly. The door shut behind me with a soft click. I met him on Tinder 4 days ago. His name was Zach. He looked normal. Not super hot, but clean, nice eyes. Lived about 15 minutes from me. His profile was low-key. A few gym selfies, 1 hiking photo, a dog pic. We messaged back and forth. He was polite. Maybe a little dry, but in a doesn't live online kind of way. Said he worked in insurance. Liked horror movies. Lived alone in a quiet neighborhood, outside the city. Nothing about him screamed red flag. So when he suggested we skip the bar and just chill at his place, I considered it. Normally I wouldn't say yes. I've had my share of bad Tinder stories. But I'd been on a streak of disappointing dates, and honestly, I was tired. So I agreed. Stupid, I know. But he seemed so normal. "Can I get you something to drink?" he asked, already heading to the kitchen. "Water's fine," I said. Still standing near the front door. His house had a weird layout. The front room had no furniture except a single gray armchair. No couch, no rug, not even wall art. Just bare floors, a coffee table, and that one chair. Like someone trying to look like they lived here, I walked over to the armchair and noticed something that made my skin crawl. The dust, not on the chair, around it. There was a perfect square of clean floor beneath it, like it had just been placed there. The rest of the room had a thin layer of dust, like it hadn't been used in weeks. I stepped back. "Here you go," he said, returning with a glass of water. I took it. Ice cubes. Clear glass. No smell. I didn't drink it. We sat awkwardly in that strange living room. He offered me the chair, and then just stood nearby. I kept asking casual questions. He kept answering, vaguely. "What kind of insurance do you do?" "Oh, all kinds." "You've lived here long?" "A while now." "You always keep things this minimal?" He laughed. "I'm a neat freak." I forced a smile, but the hair on my arms was starting to stand up. There were no personal touches in the house. No books, no remote, no clutter, no life. Even the pictures on the walls looked stock, landscapes, abstract colors. Nothing with faces. Nothing with him in it. I looked around again, trying to spot anything real. Then I saw it. In the hallway, just barely visible past the living room, a bedroom door, and a camera tripod, folded up, leaning against the wall, not hidden. Just there. I stood up. "Hey, mind if I use your bathroom?" He smiled again. "Sure, down the hall on the right." I walked slowly, feeling his eyes on me the whole way. The hallway was dim, with only a small overhead light flickering above. The bathroom door was slightly open. The bedroom door across from it was closed. I went into the bathroom and locked the door. And that's when I really started to panic. There were no toiletries. None. No toothbrush. No shampoo. No face wash. Nothing under the sink. No towel on the rack. Just a bar of soap, still in its wrapper. Who lives in a house with no signs of living? I stared at myself in the mirror, breathing hard. My reflection looked pale, nervous. I pulled out my phone. No signal. No I-feed. Dead zone. My throat went dry. I unlocked the door slowly and peeked into the hall. He wasn't there. I stepped out, heart hammering. I had to get out. Now. "Hey," I said, walking back into the living room. "Actually, I just got a text from my roommate. Emergency. I need to head out." Zach looked up from his phone. "Everything okay?" "Yeah, just roommate drama," I lied. "Thanks for the water." I grabbed my purse and walked quickly to the door. That's when I saw it. The lock. Deadbolt on the outside, like a hotel room. Or a panic room. Or trap. My hand trembled as I turned the knob. The door didn't open. "Need a hand?" Zach said behind me. I didn't turn around. "Yeah," I said, trying to stay calm. "I think the lock's stuck." He walked up beside me, unlocked it smoothly, and pulled the door open. "Some of the doors in this place are old," he said. "You get used to them." I stepped out onto the porch, nearly stumbling from how fast I moved. "Thanks again," I said, not looking back. "Anytime," he replied. I got in my car and drove away without breathing. 5 blocks down, I pulled over and started shaking. I checked my phone. Signal came back immediately. I dropped a pin on his address, took a screenshot, sent it to 2 friends with the message: "This guy's house was not right. If I go missing, start here." I didn't report it. What would I say? His house was too clean? He stood weird? There was no shampoo. But I couldn't let it go. So the next day, I did something I probably shouldn't have. I went back. Not to the house. I wasn't that reckless. But I parked down the street, just far enough that he wouldn't recognize my car if he happened to glance out. I waited for hours. Nothing. No cars came or went. No lights turned on. No movement. At one point, I saw a neighbor walking her dog and asked casually, "Hey, Does the guy in that house keep to himself? She looked at the house, then at me. That place has been empty for months. My heart dropped. Wait, I said. The one with the white porch and blue door? Yeah, the guy who used to live there moved out early summer. I felt like I was going to throw up. Thanks, I whispered. Then got in my car and drove straight to the police station. I told them everything. The house, the date, the name, the weird layout, the locked door, the nothingness. They pulled up the property records. The house had been vacant for 3.5 months. No utilities, no lease, no legal occupant. They sent a unit to check it out, and when they got there, the door was wide open. Inside, the house was empty. Like completely empty. No furniture, no chair, no tripod, not even the soap, just dust, and a single square on the floor where the dust didn't settle, a clean spot the exact size of a folding chair. The cop looked disturbed when she finished explaining what they found. No signs of forced entry, no belongings, not even a mattress, she said. It's like he cleaned it out the second you left. I asked about fingerprints, neighbors, surveillance, nothing. No fingerprints. No usable security cams. No one saw him come or go. And the real owner of the property lived out of state and had never heard of anyone named Zach. He hadn't rented it. He was squatting, or worse, he'd been waiting. I sat there in the police station lobby, shaking, clutching my phone like it could protect me. They let me file a report. Said they'd follow up if anything else turned up. But I could tell they didn't think they'd find him. To them, it was a weird date gone weird. To me, it felt like I'd brushed up against something very wrong. The next night, I didn't sleep. I kept replaying everything. His smile, the dust, the tripod, the camera, the bathroom with no towels, the bedroom door that stayed closed. How calm he was. Like he'd done this before. How easily he let me leave. That's what stuck with me the most. He could have locked that door. He could have kept me, but he didn't, which meant either I wasn't what he was looking for, or I was exactly what he wanted, and he wasn't done yet. 2 nights later, it started again. First it was small things. I came home from work and my front door was unlocked. I triple check it every morning, always have. But I brushed it off, told myself maybe I'd been distracted. Then I noticed things in my apartment felt moved. Barely. My shampoo bottle turned around. My socks in a different drawer. The smallest details, but enough to make my skin crawl. The worst part? My smoke detector was gone. Just missing from the ceiling. The wires still hanging down. And in its place, a hole. Small, about the size of a golf ball, too clean to be damage, too round to be an accident. I stood on a chair and looked inside. Blackness. Deep. Empty. Or maybe not, because just before I climbed down, I thought I saw something glint, like glass or a lens. I didn't sleep that night. I filed another report. The cops said there was no sign of forced entry. Again. They told me to change my locks, install cameras, stay somewhere else if I could. I did all of that. Stayed with a friend for a few days. Got new locks. Bought a camera for my living room and one for the hallway outside my unit. Checked both. Constantly. Nothing. But I could feel it. He'd been here, maybe still was. Finally got a break a week later. A friend, Ethan, is good with tech. He offered to help me trace anything suspicious. He dug into the Tinder profile, and that's when things started to get terrifyingly clear. Zach wasn't real. The photos he used belonged to a personal trainer from Minnesota. The guy's whole life was on Instagram: wife, kids, gym business. Completely unaware his face was being used. The Tinder account was fake. So was the number we texted on, a burner. But here's the kicker. The IP address linked to the Tinder account? It was pinned 2 blocks from my apartment. 2 blocks away. Ethan looked up at me and said, I think he's still watching you. The next day, I came home and saw something that made my blood run cold. There was a chair in my apartment, not mine. A cheap, foldable gray one, just like the one in his staged living room. It was sitting dead center in my hallway, facing the mirror. I checked the locks. Nothing broken. I checked the windows. All locked. The cameras? The hallway one had static. The living room one? Gone, ripped off the wall. The SD card missing. He'd been here, again. He'd left the chair like a calling card. Like a joke. Like a warning. I packed a bag and left that night. For good. I stayed with my parents in a different city for over a month. I tried to block it out. Therapy, new job. Deleted Tinder. New number. Scrubbed everything I could online. Took self-defense classes. Got a dog, but none of it made me feel safe. Because even a month later, weird things kept happening. Packages showing up in my name that I didn't order. Phone calls with no one on the other end. My dog growling at the hallway mirror for no reason. I even found another one of those gray chairs behind my apartment dumpster. Folded neatly. Clean. Just sitting there. Waiting. A few nights ago, I finally got another video alert. My new indoor camera picked up movement. 2:53 a.m. I opened the app. Heart racing. The footage showed me sleeping in bed. But in the far corner of the room, a dark shape moved, barely visible. Almost like it was just shadows shifting. But then, for one horrifying frame, it stepped into the light. Him. Same clothes. Same build. Same face. And in his hand, a tripod. Then, the video glitched. Skip. When it came back, he was gone. Just like that. I moved out again. Didn't leave a forwarding address. Didn't tell anyone outside my family where I was going. New apartment. New locks. No mirrors, and still, I don't feel safe. Because earlier this week, while walking my dog, I saw a U-Haul parked on the street. Nothing weird about that, until I saw a guy unloading a folding chair. Same kind. He turned. Smiled. Too wide. And even though he looked different face, different eyes, I knew. It was him. New face. Same eyes behind it, like he was trying out a new mask. Haven't told anyone this next part, because I'm scared. It means I'm losing my mind. But last night, I was lying in bed, half asleep, when I heard something whisper my name. Not in the room. From the closet. I froze. Sat up. My dog was already growling, ears pinned back, facing the closet door. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and walked over. Opened it slowly. Empty. Except at the very back, tucked behind my laundry hamper, a folded gray chair, and underneath it, taped to the wall, a photo of me. Sleeping. From this apartment. I don't know how he keeps finding me. I don't know how many faces he has, or what his real name is. I don't even think he wants to hurt me. I think he just wants to watch. To play. To be let in. And the scariest part? I don't think I was the first, but I'm terrified I won't be the last, because tonight, I came home from walking the dog, and the door was already unlocked. The second he led me down those stairs, I knew something wasn't right. Not wrong, exactly, just off. Like the temperature dropped 5 degrees the moment the door shut behind me. It was supposed to be a date. A chill, low-key night. He said he knew a hidden bar, not like a club, more like a speakeasy. Underground, literally, he'd messaged. No tourists, no lines, just music and drinks. My kind of place. I thought it sounded cool. A little mysterious, but not in a bad way. Until I was standing in a narrow stairwell. The walls covered in peeling black paint. The air damp and stale like a forgotten basement. He was already halfway down the steps. "Come on," he called, smiling back at me. "It's better than it looks, I swear." I forced a laugh and followed. But I hesitated before I hit the bottom, because I couldn't hear anything. No music. No talking. No bass rumble. Just this eerie, closed-in silence, like we were entering something buried too deep. His name was Eric. Tall, laid back, messy hair, flannel shirt, shy, kind of hot. We matched a week ago. Our chats were normal, nothing creepy. Nothing flirty to the point of red flags. He said he was into obscure music, old horror films, hated clubs, and worked at a record store. Sounded harmless. I agreed to meet. He suggested the bar. I said sure. No address, just meet me by the alley behind Baxter's Market at 9. The alley was sketchy. Faint yellow light. Damp bricks. Smelled like old beer and mildew. He was already there when I arrived, smiling, calm. The only door back there looked like an old service entrance. Scratched metal, no sign, no handle. He knocked 3 times and it creaked open from the inside. Like someone had been waiting. I couldn't see who opened it. I don't know why. I didn't leave then. At the bottom of the stairs, the hallway opened up into the bar. And yeah, at first glance, it was kind of cool. Brick walls. String lights overhead. Big red leather booths. No windows. The kind of place that felt like a secret. Low ceilings, soft lighting. Old jazz playing faintly through hidden speakers. There was even a bar counter tucked into the back, with a woman behind it polishing a glass. I felt myself relax just a little. Maybe I was overreacting. Eric motioned to a booth in the corner. That one's always empty. Best seat in the house. We slid in. He ordered 2 drinks without asking what I wanted. Trust me, he said. It's good. The bartender just nodded. Didn't smile. Didn't say a word. We made small talk. He seemed normal enough. A little intense maybe, but not in a scary way. Until I looked around and realized something. There were no other customers. Not one. No one at the bar. No one in the booths. No one coming in or out. Just us. And the silent bartender. Is this place always this dead? I asked, trying to sound casual. Eric shrugged. Sometimes. It's kind of a local secret. Cool vibe though, I said, glancing around again. There was something strange about the place. Not just the emptiness. Something about the walls. They looked DMP. Not with moisture. With time, like they'd been sealed shut for years. I looked over my shoulder toward the hallway we came through. It was gone. No, not gone. Just not visible. From our booth, I couldn't see the stairs. Or the door. Just a hallway that curved into shadows like we were deeper now. The drinks came. I didn't drink mine. Something in me. Gut level, said Don. Single quotes to. Eric drank his, then stared at me. You're not like the others, he said. What others? He smiled. But it didn't reach his eyes. The ones who want attention. Drama, likes, you're real. I laughed awkwardly. Well, thanks I guess. You listen, he said. You're quiet. You're different. I wanted to change the subject. I reached for my phone, mostly as a nervous habit. No signal. I held it up. We're underground, huh? He just watched me. I stood up. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. Eric didn't stop me. He just said, second door past the bar. I walked fast. My boots echoed on the concrete floor. The bartender didn't look up as I passed. I found the hallway, but there were no signs. No doors labeled anything. The second one was slightly open. I pushed it. It wasn't a bathroom. It was a room with mirrors. Floor to ceiling. All 4 walls. And in the center, a single chair. Same red leather as the booths. My heart flipped. Backed away and opened the next door down. Empty room. Mattress on the floor. No sheets. Camera in the corner. Red light blinking. The room after that? Locked. I turned back. Eric was standing in the hallway. Smiling. Double quotes. I think I'm gonna head out, I said quickly. No. "You're not," he said. I moved a walk past him. He didn't stop me physically, but his smile widened. "You still think this is a bar?" That stopped me cold. He leaned in. "This place used to be a fallout shelter," he said. "Long time ago. Before the city built over it. Then someone turned it into a club. Then someone else bought it." "Who?" I asked, my throat dry. He stepped back, motioning around us. My mouth was dry. My skin felt too tight on my body. "You bought it?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "The bar?" He tilted his head, still smiling. "Not the bar. The space." I took a slow step back. "There is no bar, is there?" His eyes lit up like I'd solved a riddle. "Not anymore," he said. "The liquor bottles are filled with tea and food coloring. The bartender doesn't even speak English. She's here because she owes me a favor." "What the hell is this place?" "It's quiet, safe, off the grid." I took another step. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my ears. "I want to go home," I said. He didn't move. Just kept looking at me like he was trying to memorize my face. "You don't have to be scared." "I like you," he said. "I think we really understand each other." "You drugged me," I snapped. "I didn't," he said. "I swear." "You didn't even drink it." I saw. His voice was soft. Hurt, almost. Like I'd wounded him, but I didn't care. I turned and bolted for the hallway. I didn't know which way to go. The curve of the walls made everything disorienting. No signage. No windows. No sound. Just smooth walls and doors that all looked the same. I passed the mirror room. Again, and kept running. The hallway turned again, and dead-ended. I spun back around. Eric was standing there, blocking the path. "I just want to talk," he said. I saw something in his hand, not a weapon. A phone. My phone. I lunged at him without thinking. He didn't expect that. I slammed into him, knocked the phone out of his hand, and ducked past before he could grab me. My legs were shaking. But I forced myself to move, sprinting back through the hallway. Through the main room. The bartender was gone. The bar stool was knocked over. Front door was nowhere in sight. I turned in a slow circle. The room felt smaller now. The lights were dimmer. Everything looked faded. Like the set of a play that had closed years ago and never got cleaned up. Then I heard something. A soft click from above. I looked up. A camera. Tiny, mounted in the ceiling corner. Just like the one I saw in the room with the mattress. A red light blinked on. He was recording me. I screamed. I don't remember what I said. Probably just help over and over again. But my voice cracked so fast it barely echoed off the stone walls. And then I heard his voice again. "Behind me. No one can hear you down here." I turned, fists clenched, ready to fight, but he wasn't close. He was standing near one of the walls, looking at a panel I hadn't noticed before, a metal grate, waist height like a crawl space. He opened it with a soft creak, then looked at me. "There's a way out," he said. I didn't move. "You're not the first person I've brought here," he added. "But you're the first one who didn't fake it. You didn't pretend to like me. You were honest." I stared at him, not speaking. "I'll let you go," he said. "You can crawl through. It's tight, but it leads to an old service hatch." I didn't trust him, obviously, but I didn't have another option. I edged toward the grate. Looked inside. It was narrow, yes, but I could fit. "You go first," I said. He grinned. "I don't fit." I hesitated. "I swear," he said. "You can leave. I won't follow." I just wanted someone to see me. That line, "see me," made my blood run cold, but I crawled in. The tunnel was pitch black. Concrete walls. Dirt and dust. Old wires. I used the flashlight on my phone, the one I'd knocked out of his hand, praying the battery would last. I crawled until my elbows were raw. The tunnel curved, dipped, rose again. After 10 minutes, I saw a faint light. Another grate. Rusted. Half-open. I pushed it. It groaned, but it moved. And suddenly I was outside. Behind a building. Alley. Trash cans. City noise. I almost cried. I ran until I found people. A bus stop. Street lights. My hands were shaking too hard to dial at first. But I eventually called 911. The cops came. I gave them the whole story. They found the building. It was real. An old basement property, zoned as a historic fallout shelter. Technically condemned, but never demolished. Records said it hadn't been used in over 20 years. No bar license. No owners. No. Eric. They searched the place. It was empty. Totally empty. No booths. No bar. No lights. No camera. No red chair. No mirror room. Just a gutted basement with dust mold. And one boarded up crawl space. They looked at me like I'd imagined the whole thing. But I know what I saw. I know what I felt. And I know what showed up in my inbox. 2 days later. No sender. No subject line. Just a video attachment. The file name? QuietGirls.03.mp4. I shouldn't have opened it. But I did. It was me, sitting in that red booth, looking around nervously, biting my lip. Alone. No music. No bartender. Just me and the blinking red light from the ceiling. At the end of the video, Eric's voice came through. You were right not to drink it. Then the video cut out. The first time he said it, I thought it was just a cheesy line. You look just like her. I laughed awkwardly and asked, like who? He just smiled and said, someone I used to know. We were sitting in a candle-lit booth at a little tapas place near downtown. It was our second date. He'd picked the spot, said he liked quiet places where you could actually hear someone talk. His name was Daniel. We'd matched on Tinder about 2 weeks earlier. He seemed normal, kind, if a little intense. A little old-fashioned. Not big on social media. Worked in IT. His profile only had 2 pictures, both of them kind of grainy. One clearly taken on an old phone, but something about the way he messaged felt refreshingly low-pressure. So I went for it. I wish I hadn't. The second time he said it was after I smiled at a joke he made. He leaned in a little, eyes fixed on mine, and said again, you really look like her. This time, I laughed a little less. I hope that's not a bad thing, I joked. He shook his head. No, not at all. It's just uncanny. Do I get to know who she is? I asked, trying to keep the tone light. Maybe, he said, grinning. If you stick around. He paid for dinner, walked me to my car, even opened the door. Old school, polite. Almost performative. Something about it felt rehearsed. On the drive home, that phrase kept playing in my head. You look just like her. 2 days later, I got a text from him. Are you free tonight? I want to show you something. I said yes. No reason not to, yet. He sent an address. Not a restaurant this time. A house. Nothing weird, he added. I just want your opinion on something. I pulled up outside around 7:30. It was a small, quiet house in an older neighborhood. Overgrown lawn. Porch light flickering. It didn't scream serial killer, but it didn't exactly say normal date night either. Still, I knocked. Daniel opened the door immediately, like he'd been standing right behind it. Come in, he said. Stepping aside, the inside was cluttered. Not dirty, just packed. Like someone had lived there a long time and never thrown anything out. Shelves crammed with books and DVDs. A dusty fish tank with no fish. Framed black and white photos on every wall. All of them old. All of them women. Is this your place? I asked. He paused. Used to be my aunt's. I inherited it. That seemed plausible, kind of. He led me to the living room. On the coffee table was a leather binder. This is what I wanted to show you, he said. I sat down and opened the binder. Inside were dozens of printed photos. All of the same woman. Same girl. Over and over. Different outfits. Different settings, but always her. She had long dark hair. A quiet kind of beauty. Same age range as me. The resemblance was unsettling. She didn't look exactly like me, but close enough. Same bone structure. Same smile. Same chin. Daniel sat beside me, watching my face. She was my ex, he said. Her name was Lily. What happened to her? She disappeared. I looked up. She what? He nodded, face still, voice quiet. Last year. We were seeing each other. Then one day she just vanished. No note, no goodbye. Cops said she probably ran off. But I don't believe that. I stared down at the photos again. I'm sorry, I said. Because I didn't know what else to say. Daniel smiled. You're even more like her than I realized. That should have been the end of it. I should have left then, but I didn't. I stayed for tea. Chatted more. Told myself he was just grieving. Maybe lonely. It wasn't until I got home that the dread kicked in. I pulled up the only decent selfie I had on my phone from the date and stared at my own face, then back to hers. There was something too similar, like I was looking at a draft of myself. A prototype. And in some of the photos, Lily wasn't smiling. She looked scared. I tried to shake it off, but something had shifted. From that night on, Daniel started texting constantly, checking in, asking what I was doing, who I was with, when I'd be home. Then came the compliments. You look good in red. Just like she did. You have the same laugh. She used to stand just like that. It was always her. I didn't feel like a person around him. Just a shadow of someone else. And then he sent the photo. It came in at 2:13 a.m. A blurry image. Shot from outside my apartment window. Me, standing in my kitchen. I hadn't told him where I lived. I texted back, WTF is this? How did you get this? No response. I blocked his number. Filed a police report. They said they couldn't do anything unless he physically threatened me. Keep your doors locked. Don't engage. I slept with the lights on that night. And the next. Then came the letter. No stamp. No envelope. Just a folded paper slid under my door. Typed. Playing. One sentence. I never wanted Lily to leave. And I don't want you to either. After I found that letter, I didn't go back inside my apartment for hours. I stood in the parking lot, hand trembling, just staring at the front door like it might open on its own. Like he might be inside already. I called the cops again. They came, did a walk-through. No sign of forced entry. Nothing missing. Nothing out of place. But the paper was real. He'd been close enough to touch my door, to slide that message under it. And worse, he knew about Lily. And now he was saying he didn't want me to leave either. I stayed with a friend for a while, Sarah. She's the kind of person who carries pepper spray in her purse and a bat next to her bed. She didn't ask questions. Just made up the couch and said, say the word and I'll flatten his tires. I wish it were that easy. For a few days, it was quiet. I tried to move on. But then Sarah said something one night that made my blood run cold. We were watching Netflix, lights low, half asleep. She looked up and casually asked, hey, is that the guy you went out with? I sat bolt upright. What guy? She pointed to the screen, her baby cam app. She uses it to keep an eye on her backyard. Motion alerts, night vision, the whole deal. I grabbed her phone. There, paused on the footage, was a still frame of someone standing just outside the back window, watching us. It was blurry, but the flannel shirt, the shape of his face. It was Daniel. We called the police again. They checked the yard. Footprints in the dirt. No camera damage. Nothing stolen. Still, the cops said it wasn't enough. He hadn't broken in. He hadn't hurt anyone. They couldn't do anything but take another report. I started looking over my shoulder every second I was outside. Stopped going to work. Kept the curtains shut. Deleted Tinder. Changed my number, but the messages didn't stop. They just got CREEPIER.anonymous emails. Blocked calls. Notes taped to the door. Photos taken through car windows. Each one said the same thing in some form. You look just like her. You are her. You're mine. I couldn't take it anymore. I needed to know the truth. I needed to know what happened to Lily. Because if I didn't, if I just kept hiding, I knew I was going to end up like her. Or worse. I started digging. I searched every online archive I could find. Old missing persons bulletins. Local Reddit threads. Comments on news stories from the last 2 years. And finally, after hours of looking, I found her. Lily Ames, age 27. Last seen May 14th last year. Went missing after a date with a man she met online. No confirmed suspect. No trace, but in the comments of one post, someone had written, "This happened to my friend. Same guy, same routine. He's using different names. Be careful. If anyone finds this, email me." There was a Gmail address. I reached out. Didn't expect a reply. Got one an hour later. Her name was Emily. She said her best friend went on a date with a guy named Mark, who lived in a quiet neighborhood, liked old movies. Didn't use social media. Sound familiar? She showed me a picture of her friend. Another girl who looked like Lily. Another girl who looked like me. My hands were sweating as I typed back, "Did your friend make it out?" She didn't answer. She just sent one last message. "Check under the floorboards." I didn't want to go back to Daniel's house, but I didn't know where else to look. I figured if I timed it right, mid-afternoon, broad daylight, quick in and out, I could find something to take to the police. A piece of evidence. Something real. The front door was locked, but a back window was open. Propped up with a piece of wood, almost like he was expecting me, or inviting me in. Inside. It was just how I remembered. Cluttered, dim, too quiet. The same framed photos on the walls. The binder still on the coffee table. I tiptoed down the hall toward what I assumed was the bedroom. The floor creaked under every step. Inside the room, a twin bed, perfectly made. One lamp, one dresser. One locked door in the back. I didn't go near it. Instead, I crouched next to the bed and knocked on the floor. Hollow. I peeled up the corner of the rug. Then I saw it, the edge of a loose board. My breath caught. I pried it up, with my keys and shone my phone flashlight inside. What I saw made me choke. A shoebox. Inside, a gold locket, a phone with a cracked screen, a lipstick, a folded photo of Lily, and behind that, another photo. Me. Taken from across the street. Entering my building. Another photo. Me, at work. Another. Me sleeping. Dozens of pictures. Printed and stacked neatly, like evidence in a case only he was keeping track of. Dropped the box. Ran. I barely made it out the front door before a voice behind me said, "You weren't supposed to see that." Daniel. Standing at the end of the hallway. Smiling. Like he wasn't surprised at all. "I told you," he said, stepping closer. "You're just like her." I ran, didn't look back. The police took me seriously this time because I had photos. I had names. I had proof. They got a warrant. Searched the house. Found the box. The photos. Even Lily's phone. Still logged into her old email account. They opened the locked door. It was a basement room. Soundproofed. Mattress. Chains on the wall. A single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. They found DNA, enough to reopen Lily's case. But they didn't find Daniel. He was gone. Disappeared the second I ran. Vanished into thin air. Like he'd planned for it all along. That was 6 months ago. I've moved twice since then. Changed jobs. Changed my name online. Deleted every app. But sometimes I still feel it, like someone's watching me. Last week, I got an email from a burner account. No message. Just a photo. Me. From behind. In the grocery store parking lot. And below it, one sentence: you still look just like her. The last text I sent him was, "You seriously need to chill." He never answered, but I'm pretty sure he still read it, because 3 days later, I found his phone, cracked and buzzing, in the middle of the woods, and I haven't slept since. His name was Shane. We matched on Tinder 3 weeks ago. I was bored. He was cute. Not like hot, but scruffy and smiley and weird in a way I like. His bio just said, "I don't talk much, but I'm a good listener." We chatted for a few days. He was sweet, but quiet. Always let me lead the conversation. Always replied within minutes. After a while, he started asking questions. Not flirty ones. More deep. What scares you? Do you ever feel like something's watching you? Even when you're alone? If you disappeared, who would come looking first? I thought it was just his sense of humor. Dark, maybe. But we'd all dated weirder. I agreed to go out with him. We met at a diner. He barely spoke. Just watched me, not in a gross way, just intensely. Like I was the first real person he'd seen in a while. His voice was soft, calm. Like he was always thinking carefully before saying anything. The only time he really lit up was when I asked what he did for fun. He smiled, looked out the window, and said, "I go on walks, mostly in the woods. Sometimes I see things other people miss." That line stuck with me. I didn't know why. When we said goodbye, he hugged me. A little too long. Later that night, he texted, "You have a good energy." Like someone who sees more than she lets on. I didn't know what to say. So I didn't respond right away. That's when the weirdness started. The next morning, I had 3 missed calls from him. Then a photo. Just trees. A blurry shot of the woods. No caption. Then, another. Closer. This time, there was something in the frame, a dark shape. Maybe a tree trunk, maybe something else. I ignored it. An hour later, he sent this. "I think you're what I was supposed to find." I replied, "Hey, you're coming on really strong. Can we slow it down?" No reply. 10 minutes later, another photo of my street, taken from inside a car. I called him, no answer. Then I texted, "You seriously need to chill." That was the last thing I ever sent him. He went quiet after that. No calls, no texts, no new photos. 3 days passed. Then I got a message from a random number. "Is this the girl Shane went on a date with?" I replied, "Who is this?" They said, "I'm his roommate. He hasn't come home since Friday." I didn't know what to say. I hadn't told anyone about him. It was just one date, but I felt sick. Like something was wrong, even beyond the stalking stuff. His roommate sent me a voice note. It was short. Just 4 words. He went into the woods. I don't know what made me go. Guilt, maybe. Or something deeper. Some thread I couldn't explain that tied me to him. But 2 days later, I drove out to the trail he'd mentioned on our date. Quiet, rural, no signage. Just a dirt path behind a rusted gate. I left my car near the tree line, and I walked in. The woods were too quiet. Even the birds felt far away. It had just rained, so the air was heavy, and the trees dripped constantly. Everything smelled like mud and bark and something sweet underneath. Something rotting. I walked for about an hour. No signs. No people. Just a narrow path that kept going deeper, like it was pulling me in. Then I saw something that stopped me cold. A shoe, half sunk in the mud. Dark gray, familiar. I picked it up. Size 11, same worn brand. Shane had been wearing. That's when I noticed the second thing. Footprints. Not normal ones, barefoot, deep. Like someone was dragging one leg. They led off the path. Into the trees. The footprints were fresh. Fresh enough that the edges still held their shape. Fresh enough that the mud inside them hadn't filled with rainwater yet. Fresh enough that whoever made them wasn't far. I stood there, holding Shane's Shoe, breathing through my sleeve because the air suddenly smelled wrong. Wet leaves, earth, and something sharp metallic, like rusted nails. The footprints pulled me deeper into the trees. I should have turned back. I should. They run. But something tugged at me, not guilt, not fear. Recognition, felt like I was getting close to something I'd seen before, but only in a dream. I followed. The deeper I went, the quieter everything got. No wind, no birds. Just the soft, sticky sound of my boots in the mud and the occasional drop of water from way up in the canopy. The footprints grew more erratic. Some close together, some far apart. Some smeared sideways like he'd stumbled. Then, more. Two sets. One human, one not. Longer, not quite a paw. Not quite a foot, almost like fingers. My stomach knotted. I kept going. After I'd walked another 15 minutes, I saw something pale through the trees. A piece of fabric? A plastic bag? No, a face. I froze so hard I felt my bones locked. It was Shane, or his body, at least, sitting with his back against a tree. Legs stretched out, arms limp at his sides, head tilted slightly, like he was listening to something. His eyes were open, wide open. I stepped closer, slowly, my breath fogging in the cold air. Shane? My voice came out cracked. He didn't move. His skin was gray. Lips pale, dirt smeared on his legs and arms. One foot bare, the other still wearing his remaining shoe. He looked dead, except his chest rose. Barely. Just enough for me to see. A tiny, shallow breath. Not a dying breath, a listening breath. Like he knew I was there. I dropped to my knees in front of him, shaking. Shane, oh my God, Shane? His eyes flipped toward me. Not his head, just his eyes, slow, delayed, like something inside him had to remember how to do it. Then he whispered, voice dry and cold, you came. The woods pulsed around me, like the air thickened. I swallowed hard. Your roommate said you were missing. I came to help. His expression twitched. A half smile, but too small, too sharp. You shouldn't have left me on read, he whispered. My heart stopped. What? He blinked once, slow, like he was searching inside his own mind for the right answer. Then, it doesn't like being ignored. I froze. What doesn't? Shane's body shivered once, a full body jerk, like something pulled invisible strings inside him. His voice wasn't his when he spoke next. She found me. I stepped back so fast I slipped in the mud. Shane, what does that mean? Who found you? He lifted his hand. Slow, jerky, and pointed behind me. I didn't want to turn around. Every instinct in my body screamed run. My breathing went fast and shallow. I could hear my pulse in my ears. I slowly turned my head and saw nothing, just trees, wet bark, moss, shadows. But the air behind me was colder. Like something had just moved out of sight. Shane's voice cracked. It follows whoever listens. My skin crawled. What follows? He stared at me like he wanted to tell me something important, something urgent, but his words came out wrong. Broken. Don't leave me again. My throat tightened. Shane, you need help. Please. Then he screamed. It wasn't a normal scream, not frightened. Not pain. A mimic scream, like something had learned how to copy the shape of a scream, without understanding why people make them. His body twisted, head jerking sideways, jaw too wide, fingers digging into the bark behind him. Then his eyes rolled downward, staring at the ground between us. At my shoe prints. His breathing sped up, shallow and frantic. It's coming. The woods went dead silent. Not quiet. Dead. I ran. I don't even remember standing up. 1 second I was kneeling in front of him. The next I was sprinting through the trees so fast branches slapped my face. Behind me, something moved. Not footsteps, not animal noises. Something like bones clicking together. Fast. Close. I didn't look back. I just ran toward where I prayed the path still was. But the woods had changed. The trees looked wrong. Taller. Closer. The path thinner. I Heard something behind me whisper, "Don't leave." Shane's voice, but stretched. Thin, like rubber pulled to the breaking point. "Don't leave." I burst through a cluster of bushes and saw the rusted gate civilization, the parking lot. I sprinted toward my car, lungs screaming. When I reached the driver's door, I finally dared to look back. Nothing, just still trees, but the shadows between them were too dark, like something had crouched back, just out of sight, watching me, breathing with the forest. I drove home shaking so violently I had to pull over twice. Called the cops. They found Shane's body exactly where I had fled. Official cause of death. Exposure. No signs of a struggle. No signs of anyone else. They said he'd probably wandered into the woods during a mental health episode. No one mentioned the prince. No one explained how he had texted me photos from miles into the woods. And his phone? They never found it, but I did. The next morning on my doorstep. Screen cracked. Still buzzing, still working. One new notification, one unread message from an unknown number. A picture of me walking out of the woods the night before. And underneath, just one line. "You didn't leave me on read this time." The second my phone buzzed with the "unknown AirTag detected near you" alert, I felt that drop in my stomach, the kind you can't argue with, the kind that means you're not imagining it. I was in my car, alone, at a red light, driving home from a first date that felt fine. Nothing creepy, nothing weird, just boring. His name was Mason, cute, clean-cut, seemed normal. A little too polished maybe, like a guy trying out his personality for the first time. The date was at a brewery. I had one drink, he had none. Sighed he had to get up early. I didn't ask questions. We parted with a polite hug in the parking lot. He offered to walk me to my car. I declined. He smiled like it didn't bother him. But now? 10 minutes later, 2 exits from my place, my phone. Lights up. AirTag found moving with you. This AirTag has been seen moving with you for a while. The owner can see your location. I nearly slammed the brakes. I pulled into a random gas station, heart pounding, skin clammy. It was almost midnight. There were no cars around. The lights buzzed overhead. One of those places that looks abandoned even when it's open. I flung the car door open and started tearing through the inside. Floor mats, cue folders, glove box, under the seats. I checked the Apple instructions on my phone. It said the AirTag would make a noise after a certain amount of time. I turned the car off and listened. Silence. Then, a faint chirp. Behind me. I flipped around and reached under the passenger seat. And there it was. A tiny white disc. No markings. No casing. Just an AirTag taped to the underside of the seat with black electrical tape. Perfectly hidden. Perfectly placed. I felt like I was going to throw up. I took a picture. Peeled it off with shaking fingers. My brain was sprinting now, retracing every minute of the date. He never came near my car. Never walked me back. Unless he did after I got inside. Unless he approached when I was adjusting my mirrors or checking my texts. I didn't remember. I was so used to feeling safe in my car. I tossed the AirTag in the trash can by the gas station pump, but it didn't make me feel better. I didn't go home that night. I drove to my sister's instead, 30 minutes away, in a gated community, safe, bright, security cameras. I didn't tell her everything. Just said some guy from a dating app gave me a weird vibe and I wanted to crash for the night. She didn't ask questions. Gave me a blanket, made popcorn. We watched 2 episodes of some dumb reality show before I finally relaxed enough to fall asleep. But I didn't sleep well. I kept waking up thinking I heard footsteps or my phone buzzing. The next morning, I reported the incident to Apple and the police. Apple told me to file a report and disable the AirTag via serial number. The cop, a bored-looking guy in his 40s, said this kind of thing was happening more and more these days. But unless I could prove he placed it there wasn't much they could do. I gave them Mason's Tinder profile, his first name. The brewery where we met. His number. They said they'd look into it. I didn't feel reassured. I unmatched Mason and blocked his number. I even deleted Tinder entirely. But the thing about fear is that once it sets up shop in your brain, it doesn't leave quietly. It rearranges the furniture. I stopped parking in the same spots, changed up my routes, started checking under my car every time I got in. I bought a bug detector, bought pepper spray. I even bought one of those personal safety alarms that screams when you pull the pin. But still, I couldn't stop thinking, how did he do it so easily? How did he find a way into my car, into my life, in less than 2 hours? And why me? A week passed, nothing happened. Then 2, then 3. I started to let my guard down. Started telling myself I was overreacting. That maybe it wasn't him, that it was a coincidence. That someone else dropped the tag and it happened to end up under my seat. But then, one night, as I was leaving a late shift at work, I saw him, or I think I did, across the parking lot, half shadowed by a tree. Just standing. Still. Watching. I couldn't be sure it was Mason. He was too far away. But the build, the posture, it was too familiar. I turned toward him, blinking, heart hammering, and he was gone. Just gone. That night, I got a message on Instagram. Not from Mason, from a blank account. No name, no bio. 0 followers. Just one message. You look tired tonight. Are you not sleeping? Blocked it. Immediately. My account was private. No mutuals. No public posts with location tags. How did he find it? A few minutes later, another message. This time to my email. Same tone. Same words. You shouldn't have thrown it away. I could have kept you safe. I went back to the cops. Different officer this time. Younger, more alert. She seemed genuinely concerned. Asked for screenshots. Took my phone. Filed it all. But again, no threats, no physical harm, no name attached to the account. She said she could document the pattern, but that was it, unless he made a move. Until then, I was supposed to stay alert. I already was. That same week, my sister texted me something that made my blood run cold. Hey, did you come by this morning? The dog was barking like crazy, and I thought it was you. Found this on the porch. She attached a picture, a small white box, Apple packaging. An AirTag. Still in the wrapper. No return address. No note. I stared at the picture of the AirTag on my sister's porch for a full minute before I could even breathe. Still in the box. Still clean. Like it was a gift. I texted back, "Don't touch it. I'll be there in 20. She didn't argue. When I pulled up to her house, the sky was just starting to cloud over. A storm was coming in, heavy, humid air, wind pushing the trees around. Like they were warning me. The box was right where she said, sitting. Neatly in the middle of the welcome mat. I picked it up with a tissue and dropped it straight into a Ziploc bag. I didn't open it. I didn't have to. He wanted me to know it was from him. He wanted me to know he was still close. Watching. Patient. Back at the police station. I asked to speak to the same female officer as before. She brought me into a small interview room with cinder block walls and a flickering light that buzzed loud enough to drown out your thoughts. Handed her the bag. This was left on my sister's porch. He knows where I stay now. He knows I blocked him. He's still tracking me. She looked tired, but I could tell she believed me now. We'll run it. If the serial number was ever registered to an iCloud account, we can trace it. Even if he tried to wipe it. That gave me some hope. For the first time since this all started, I felt like we might finally pin him down. But then she said something that brought the fear rushing back in. Do you mind confirming the date and location of the original AirTag incident one more time? The one under your car seat? Yeah, I said. It was the night I went on that date with Mason. 2 months ago. He must have dropped it into my car when I wasn't looking. She tilted her head. We looked into your report. We tried to pull security footage from the brewery. There's a camera pointed at the front lot, okay? She tapped the table twice with her pen. You parked there like you said. But here's the weird part. No one approached your car. Not even close. You walked in. You walked out. No one ever came near it. I blinked. That's not possible. We even checked the back lot in case he looped around. Nothing. My mouth went dry. Then how did he get it in there? She didn't answer, because we both already knew what that meant. He was in my car before I even got there. After that, things moved quickly. The AirTag from my sister's porch. It was registered. Not under Mason. Not under any of the aliases he'd used online, but tied to an iCloud account under the name Gavin Alder, a name I'd never heard before. When they ran the ID, the results were even more disturbing. Gavin Alder wasn't some stranger. He was a guy who used to work in the same building as me. Not the same office, different company, but we'd taken the same elevator, parked in the same garage, walked the same halls for months. He must have followed me online, recognized me from work. Found me on Tinder under a fake name, played the long game, and the date was just the beginning. They issued a warrant. Found his apartment. It was mostly empty. Bed on the floor. No photos, no furniture, but taped to the back of his closet door. They found dozens of printouts, screenshots of me. Photos from Instagram, old work photos. Even my LinkedIn profile. Next to each one were notes. What I wore that day, where I parked, who I was with. TIMEST AMPS. In the corner of the wall, written in black marker. She didn't see me. She still doesn't see me. They never caught him. By the time the police got there, he was already gone. No trace. No credit card use. No phone signal. Vanished. For a while, I stayed with family. Got a new phone. New number. Took a leave of absence from work. Moved. It felt like survival. Like I was a deer that had just barely outrun the lion, but I never stopped. Looking over my shoulder, and I never stopped checking my phone. For AirTag alerts, for 2 months. Nothing happened. And then one night, as I was driving home from my new job, my phone buzzed. Unknown AirTag detected near you. I pulled over. Shaking. Checked under the seats. Glove box. Trunk. Tires. Nothing. I opened the Find My app. It showed the AirTag was moving with me. But the sound beacon wouldn't trigger. It was silent. That meant one thing. It had no speaker. Some stalkers were disabling them now, cracking them open, removing the parts that make them chirp, so their victims wouldn't even know they were being followed. I started hyperventilating, because that meant it had been there longer than I knew. I drove straight to the police station. Again, different town, different officers. I handed over my phone, my car, everything. They found it 3 hours later. Not in the cabin. Not under the seat. Inside the vent. Stuffed so deep they had to use a flexible camera to find it. Surgically placed. Wired to stay put. Serial number. Wiped. It wasn't Gavin's. It was new. Fresh. That was 2 weeks ago. I've moved again since then. I keep my phone in airplane mode most days. I don't post online. I don't drive at night. I use cash when I can. I check every vent, every corner, every single time I step into a new space. But this morning, I found something outside my apartment door. Not an AirTag. This time, a box. No markings. Inside, a printed photo of me. Sleeping. Taken from inside my bedroom and written on the back. In perfect, looping handwriting. No tag this time. Just me. I knew something was off the second I saw the folder on his desktop. It was during our 3rd date. We weren't doing anything special, just watching a dumb horror movie at his place, curled up on the couch. At one point, he left the room to take a call, and I leaned over to grab the remote off his desk. That's when I saw it. His laptop was open, screen still on, and there, in the corner, was a folder labeled Options. It was in all caps, not a work file. Not music. Not a game, just options. I didn't open it, didn't even move the mouse, but I stared at it long enough for something cold to settle in my stomach. His name was Tyler. We matched on Tinder about a month ago. He was charming in that dry, quiet kind of way. Not overbearing. Not cringy. The kind of guy who made you feel like he'd seen through all the noise and picked you. Our first date was perfect. He was funny, sweet, paid attention. I didn't even have to do the heavy lifting in conversation, which is rare. We kissed that night in his car. I remember the way he looked at me afterward, like I was the most interesting thing in the world. I usually don't connect this fast. He said, neither did I was hooked, but by the second date, little things felt off. He texted less between MEETUP never called. And when I asked to hang out last minute, he'd say things like, let me check something. I might be helping a friend. I'm kinda wiped, rain check. Then, the next morning, I'd see him post a story at a restaurant or out walking somewhere, clearly not alone. I didn't say anything. I told myself I was overreacting, that maybe he was seeing other people, which was fine. We weren't exclusive yet, but something about the way he phrased things. Always vague. Always polite. Never angry. Never obvious, like he was too good at staying just inside the line. Back to his apartment. The options folder. When he came back into the room, I pretended I didn't notice it. Smiled, passed him the remote, cuddled up again. But the rest of the night, I couldn't focus. I kept glancing at his laptop, wondering later, in the bathroom. I made a choice I'm not proud of. I checked his medicine cabinet. Nothing too weird. Generic pills, toothpaste, cologne. But taped inside the door was a Polaroid of a girl. Not me. Same age, maybe. Different hair. Posed in what looked like the same living room we'd just been in. She was smiling. The Polaroid had a name written on it. Sierra ... and a date. 2 months ago. Something about it made my skin go cold. Why tape it there? I didn't sleep much that night. The next morning, I made up an excuse to leave early. Tyler didn't push. Just kissed me on the cheek and said, let's do something this weekend. I nodded. But the whole drive home, my mind was racing. Who was Sierra? Why the folder? Why that name? I started digging. I googled Sierra plus his city plus missing, just in case. Nothing came up, but I couldn't stop. So I did what I never thought I'd do. I made a burner Tinder account. New name, new pics, no connection to me. And I swiped, for hours, looking for him. It took 2 days, but I found him. Same photos. Same bio. Different name, Matt. I swiped. Right. He matched instantly. He messaged first. You seem like you have a good vibe. Same line he used on me. I played along. Small talk. He flirted. Asked where I lived, what I was into, if I wanted to meet soon. I said I was busy that weekend. He said no worries, and added, I've got a couple options I'm figuring out anyway. But you're cute. My blood ran cold. He didn't know he was talking to me, but he was still using the word options. That night, I went back to his apartment. I pretended nothing was wrong. We had wine. He cooked. He kissed me like I was the only girl in the world. But all I could see was that folder on his screen, that Polaroid in the medicine cabinet. And when he went to take the trash out, I did it. I opened the laptop. The folder wasn't password protected. Inside dozens of subfolders. Each one a name. Mine was there, Claire. I clicked it. Inside, screenshots. My Instagram. My texts. A saved voice message I'd sent him after our second date. A Google Maps pin of my apartment. Notes too. Literally typed notes like, easily flustered. Responds well to compliments. Says she doesn't normally date guys like me, Playing the different card worked. Trust issues, tread carefully. Don't push. I felt sick. He was studying me. Studying all of us. And we weren't dates. We were experiments. I don't remember standing up. I don't remember closing the laptop. All I remember is the buzzing in my head, like white noise, drowning out the reality that I was nothing more than a name in a digital filing cabinet. Not a person, not a girlfriend. Just an option. I heard the front door open. His footsteps. Light, steady, familiar. I forced myself to sit back on the couch, heart slamming against my ribs so hard I felt dizzy. Tyler walked in holding a cardboard box of trash bags. "You okay?" he asked. I looked up at him. He looked normal, like the version of him I had fallen for. The one who made pancakes on Sunday mornings, who texted good night and good morning every single day. But now, I knew none of that was real. Just scripts, lines in a play. I swallowed and said, "Yeah, just tired." He smiled. God, that smile used to make me melt. Now, it made my skin crawl. We watched another movie. Or pretended to. I didn't hear a single word of it. My brain was split between freeze and flee. Freeze. He didn't know I saw the folder. Act normal. Stay calm. Flee. Run. Right now. While he's distracted, but I didn't move, because the part of me that needed answers was stronger than the part that needed safety. Who was Sierra? And what happened to the others? He fell asleep around midnight, head on my shoulder. I eased out from under him, grabbed my things, and whispered that I needed to get home. He mumbled something, half asleep, and kissed my hand, even half conscious. He was charming. Rehearsed. Predictable. I left his apartment with a smile on my face. But the second the elevator closed, I broke. I drove straight to my friend's house, Emma, and collapsed on her couch, shaking so hard I spilled the water she handed me. When I finally told her everything, she didn't look surprised, concerned. Yes, but not surprised. "I always felt like something was off," she said quietly. He was too good at saying the right thing. She pushed a blanket around my shoulders. "You're not going back there." I nodded. But I wasn't done. I needed proof. Real proof. In case this didn't end with me. The next afternoon, with Emma waiting in the car outside, I went back to Tyler's place while he was at work. I knew the spare key he kept under the doormat. He'd shown me once, just in case you ever need it. The thought made me sick. I went inside fast. Straight to the bedroom. Nothing personal. Nothing out of place. Bed perfectly made. Drawers neat. No clutter. No humanity. Then I checked the closet. Nothing. But something about the space felt wrong. The carpet near the back corner looked bunched, loose, like it had been moved. I knelt down and peeled it back. There was a hinge, a small, square door in the floor, a crawl space. My throat closed. I grabbed the handle and pulled. The smell hit first. Stale, damp, metallic. Like old basements and something else underneath. Something human that shouldn't be there. I lowered myself in slowly. The flashlight on my phone lit up a small room, maybe 10 feet across. Concrete walls. Dust everywhere. In boxes. Cardboard boxes stacked neatly. Each labeled with a name. Some I recognized from the folder, some I didn't. I opened the one on top. Inside, a hairbrush, a dried out mascara, a receipt from a diner. A Polaroid. Another girl, smiling. Not me. Not Sierra. Another option. My hands shook as I opened more boxes. Each one held personal items. Things you'd only have if you'd been in someone's life long enough, or close enough to take them. I found mine quickly. Claire. Inside my box. My old chapstick, the kind I lost weeks ago. A bobby pin I hadn't seen in months. A printout of my Spotify playlists. A photo he took of me by accident. During our second date, my head started spinning. He'd been collecting things, studying, tracking, curating, not girlfriends, not connections, replacements. In the far corner of the crawl space was a bigger box, unlabeled. My breath caught. Knew what it was before I even opened it. The box held only one thing, a binder. The same type as the one I'd seen on his desk. Inside dozens of printouts of Tinder profiles. Every one of them looked like some version of me, or Sierra, or the girl from the medicine cabinet. Similar hair, similar eyes, similar face shape. Variations of the same template. Pages had notes scribbled in the margins. Too clingy, remove. Not responsive, try again later. Too independent, perfect. Save for rotation. Rotation. Felt bile rise in my throat. I slammed the binder shut, and that's when I heard it. Footsteps. Above me. Slow, heavy, moving toward the crawl space door. My heart nearly stopped. I grabbed the binder and squeezed into the darkest corner of the crawl space, killing my phone flashlight. The footsteps paused right above the door. A shadow blocked the sliver of light. Then the hinge creaked. The door lifted. Tyler's face appeared in the gap. Calm. Expressionless. Like he'd expected this. He didn't climb down. He just crouched there, looking at the darkness I was hiding in. I knew, he said softly, that you couldn't help yourself. My blood iced. You're curious, he continued. That's why you're one of the good ones. Silence. My chest felt like it might explode. I wasn't going to choose you yet, he murmured. But maybe I should have. I pressed myself deeper into the shadows, clutching the binder like a shield. Then he said it. The sentence that still keeps me awake. You really shouldn't have switched accounts. I liked you better as you were. He knew about the burner Tinder. He knew everything. Then he closed the crawl space door. Gently. Not angrily. Not loudly. Soft. Controlled. Certain. I heard the latch click. Then his footsteps moved away, not toward the front door, deeper into the apartment, toward the bedroom, toward the closet, toward me. I scrambled in the dark, hands shaking uncontrollably, searching the walls for a second exit. A vent, a crack, anything. Nothing. Just concrete. I felt the vibration of his footsteps through the floorboards above. Slow. Unhurried. Like he knew exactly how scared I was, exactly where I was, exactly how long he could take. Held my breath, and then, from above, a creak. Two. Then silence, and then a whisper through the boards. Option 1. That was my label. My folder. My box. My category. My fate. I screamed. Emma burst through the front door moments later, because I had texted her a single word before I climbed down into the crawl space. Now, she had called the police. The second I didn't respond. They arrived minutes after she did. Tyler was gone. Back window broken. Bedroom empty. The crawl space was open. I was pulled out shaking, crying, clutching the binder that proved everything. They searched the city for him. They traced his IPs. They traced his past addresses, all dead ends. That was 5 months ago. I moved, changed numbers, deleted social media, started over. But last night I got a package at my door. No return address. Inside was a Polaroid. A girl smiling. Not me. Not Sierra. Someone new. Underneath it, handwritten in neat block letters. Don't worry. You're still option 1. The second I opened my blinds and saw him just standing across the street, I knew something was seriously wrong. It had been 4 days since I blocked him, 3 days since I reported his profile. And 2 days since Tinder emailed me back and confirmed User has been permanently removed for violating community guidelines. So why the hell was he standing outside my building at 7:48 in the morning, looking up at my window? Same hoodie, same beanie, same tilted posture like he was just waiting. No phone in his hand. No dog, no bike, no car nearby. Just him. Still staring. His name was Kyle. At least that's what he told me. We matched on Tinder 6 weeks ago. He had 2 pictures, one kind of blurry, the other a mirror selfie with a dog in the background. He didn't have an Instagram linked. No bio, no prompts. Normally I would have swiped left, but something about him seemed low-key harmless. I figured he was just bad at apps. I messaged first. He replied fast. A little awkward, but sweet. The kind of guy who typed ha after every sentence. Didn't flirt too hard. Asked questions. Seemed nervous, which I thought was kind of cute. We talked for about a week before we met up. Just coffee. Neutral territory. Daytime. It went fine. Fine enough that we had a second date, drinks this time. Then back to my place for a bit. Nothing happened. He didn't push. When he left, he said, "You're like really easy to talk to. Most girls don't get me like you do." Red flag in hindsight, but at the time, it felt sweet. Things started to shift about a week later. He started texting constantly. First thing in the morning, midday, at night. And if I didn't reply within an hour, "You okay? Did I do something? Are you mad? You're not like ghosting me, right?" At first I reassured him. Then I started pulling back. I told him I was busy, stressed, that I wasn't looking for anything super serious. He said he understood. But the next night, he showed up at my work. I hadn't told him where I worked, but there he was, at the front counter of the bookstore, buying a coffee mug he didn't need. He smiled like it was a coincidence, just passing through. Thought I'd say hey. That night, I texted him and said I didn't feel comfortable moving forward, that I needed space. He didn't respond for 2 days. Then, at 2:13 a.m., I got a photo, just my apartment door, taken from the hallway. I didn't even hear anyone come by. I texted back, "What the F***ck is wrong with you?" He replied, "You invited me in. You don't get to close the door now." I blocked him on everything, reported his profile to Tinder, filed a report with the building, started checking the peephole every time I came home. For a couple days, things went quiet. Then I got the email from Tinder. "This account has been permanently removed." I felt a surge of relief. Like the nightmare was finally over. But the next morning, he was outside, just like that. Profile gone. But he wasn't. I called the police, told them about the photo, the stalking, the deleted account. They sent a cruiser by. Of course, by the time they arrived, he was gone. The officer told me to get security cameras, keep my phone on me, and don't engage. I asked about a restraining order. They said I needed more proof of a threat. The next night, I installed a camera above my door, one facing the hallway, one facing the street. Looking out the window, I checked them constantly. He didn't show up that night, or the next. Started to let my guard down again. Maybe he finally got the message. Then, 2 days later, I woke up to 6 notifications from the camera app. All between 2:22 and 2:37 a.m. Each alert said, "Motion detected, front window." I opened the footage, and my blood turned to ice. There he was, on the sidewalk across from my building. Not moving, just standing, staring up at my window for 15 minutes. Straight. No phone. No blinking. He didn't even shift his weight. It was like watching a paused video, only it wasn't paused. He was waiting. I called the cops. Again. The dispatcher sounded bored. "You said this is the same person? Is he making threats?" "No, he's just standing there, but he's not supposed to be here. He was banned from the app. He's been told to leave me alone." "Has he entered your home?" Not yet. They sent a patrol again. Nothing. He always vanished before they came. I couldn't sleep that night. Every sound made me jump. I sat on the couch. All the lights on, pepper spray in my hand. Staring at the door. Waiting for the knock I knew would come. It didn't. But at 4:19 a.m., my phone buzzed. Another notification. Camera detected movement. I opened the app. Not the street this time. The hallway, right outside my door. The footage showed my hallway, empty. Then, a shape moved into frame. Him. He walked to my door. Slowly. Paused. Tilted his head toward the peephole. Like he knew I was watching. Then he bent down and placed something on the floor. A tiny white object. Then turned and walked away. No rush. No fear. Just certainty. I waited for an hour before opening the door. There, on the mat, was a USB drive. No note. No label. Just that. I didn't plug it in. I took it straight to the cops. They logged it. Said they'd scan it. That they'd call me if anything came up. They never did. But later that night, my building's Wi-Fi went out. All of it. Not just mine. When I asked the front desk, they said someone tampered with the router box in the utility room. Must have been a prank, except that room was keycard access only. Same system tenants used to get inside. Same system he would have had access to if he'd ever been inside my apartment. I couldn't stop thinking about the USB drive. What was on it? Why didn't the cops call back? Why did the building Wi-Fi go out the same night he dropped it off? I didn't want to be paranoid, but at this point, paranoia was survival. So I went to a friend from college, Jules, who's the closest thing I have to a hacker. Knows code. Builds PCs for fun. Lives in a basement apartment with blackout curtains and 3 laptops always running. I brought her the backup copy of the USB I'd secretly cloned before. Handing it to the police, she plugged it into an air-gapped laptop, one with no internet access. Just in case. It took 2 minutes to open. The file folder was called Proof You're Mine. Inside, screenshots of my Tinder messages, voice memos of our calls, photos of me walking home, in the bookstore, at the gym, a full spreadsheet tracking my daily schedule, down to the hour. Then Jules opened a folder labeled Live. And that's when she froze. What? I asked. She didn't answer. Just turned the screen toward me. Inside the folder were video thumbnails. From multiple angles. Inside my apartment. At first, I thought they were downloaded from my security cam app. But no, the angles were wrong. These weren't from the doorbell cam or the hallway camera I'd installed. These were from inside my bedroom. Above my bed. Inside the closet. In the bathroom. Some were still images. Some were full videos. The file names had timestamps, dates, locations. He hadn't just been watching me from outside. He'd been in my home more than once. I called the cops again. Gave them everything. Jules backed it all up, submitted the metadata, confirmed it was all real, not edited, not faked. The police finally took it seriously, opened a full investigation, checked my apartment, searched every vent, outlet, mirror. They found 2 pinhole cams embedded in the smoke detector and the baseboard. Near my desk. Tiny, wireless, battery-powered. The feed? Dead by the time they got to it. But the worst part? No signs of forced entry. No broken locks. No tampered windows. They asked if I'd ever lost my keys. I hadn't. But I had left my purse on the floor during our second date. Back when I trusted him. One trip to the bathroom, and he could have had my whole life in his hands. The officers gave me 2 options. Press charges and wait. Hope they find him before he finds me. Relocate, change locks, disappear. Chose both. They issued a warrant and started tracking his known accounts. Meanwhile, I packed everything I could into 2 duffels and moved to a temporary apartment across town under a different name. No forwarding address, no social media, no phone plan under my real name, just reset. For a while, it worked. No calls. No sightings. No camera alerts. I kept the shades drawn, worked remotely, didn't talk to anyone I didn't already trust. I started to breathe again until last week. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. I was lying in bed, half asleep, when I heard a soft thump, like something being set down outside my door. Sat up. Heart racing. Waited. Nothing else. Then my phone buzzed. Camera alert. Motion detected. Front door. I opened the feed. The hallway was empty, but something was on the floor. A letter. I waited until sunrise to open the door. No one in sight. The letter was in a plain envelope. No name, no handwriting. Inside, printed on plain paper, I don't need the apps. I never did. I just needed you to see me. Below it was a photo. Black and white. Grainy. It took me a second to realize what I was looking at. Me, sleeping, hair splayed across the pillow. Taken from above. Recently. Because I was wearing the same shirt I'd fallen asleep in last night. I packed and left in 15 minutes. Didn't even take half my stuff. I went straight to a hotel, paid in cash. Didn't tell a soul. Then I changed my phone number again. Got a new SIM, new login, new accounts, deleted every trace of my old life. I was done running, or at least I thought I was. Until 2 days ago. A friend from the bookstore, someone I hadn't spoken to in months, messaged me from a burner account. Hey, I don't know where you are, but you might want to see this. Attached was a photo. It was my Tinder profile, the old one, but not exactly mine. Same pictures, same name, same age. Different bio. It just said, I'm looking for the one who saw me, and every match he was making looked like me. Different versions. Same build, same hair, same face shape. It wasn't over. It had just restarted. The night my roommate disappeared, her Tinder was still active, still matching, still messaging people, still swiping, only she WS and single quotes T. She was gone. It started 2 weeks ago. I just moved in with Bree. We'd known each other since college. Not super close, but friendly enough to split rent. The apartment was cute, cheap, red flag, and in a quiet neighborhood with way too many broken porch lights. Bree was fun. Loud, chaotic energy. She swiped Tinder like it was a sport. Half her evenings were spent in leggings on the couch, wine in one hand, phone in the other, flinging left and right like she was clearing weeds. She had a type too. Artsy guys, indie musicians, skateboarders with commitment issues. I'd laugh and roll my eyes, and every now and then, she'd hold up her phone and say, tell me which one's hotter. Help me swipe. That was our routine. Until she matched with him. I remember it clearly because she stopped scrolling. Mid-swipe. Her thumb hovered over the screen. Then she whispered, oh. I looked over. The guy was bland, seriously, just a regular-looking dude. Polo shirt. A hiking pic. A dog pic. Name was Ian. Bio said, I like quiet people. Looking for someone who sees things others don't. She stared at the screen for a weirdly long time, then swiped right. Match. Almost immediately, he messaged, I see you. At first, it was a joke. She thought it was funny, flirty in a weird way. But that night, I woke up to pee around 2 a.m. and noticed the living room light was still on. Bree was sitting on the floor, not the couch, with her phone in both hands, staring at it like she was waiting for it to blink. When I asked what she was doing, she said, talking to Ian. He's different. That word chilled me a little, the way she said it, slow, like she was thinking about every syllable. I didn't ask more. just went back to bed. Over the next few days, she got quieter. Not just tired, off. She stopped blasting music while she got ready. Stopped dancing barefoot in the kitchen. Her clothes started looking different too, more muted. She even cut her hair. Chopped off 6 inches in the bathroom without telling me. When I asked why, she said Ian liked girls with sharper features. The hairs on my arms stood up. He told you that? She just smiled. He didn't have to. That night, I SNOOPD. Not proud of it. But I picked up her phone while she was in the shower, opened Tinder. Ian's messages were strange, all one-liners. No questions. Just statements like, "You look more like her now. Don't let the roommate watch you. Closer. You're almost ready." And the last one, "Let me in soon." I backed out of the app so fast I nearly dropped her phone. When she came out of the bathroom, towel in her hair, she looked at me differently, not angry, just knowing, like she'd seen everything. The next day, she was gone. No note. No text. Her phone was still on the nightstand. Wallet on the kitchen table. Shoes by the door, like she'd just stepped out and never came back. Waited hours before calling the police. Filed the report. Gave them her full name. Showed them her room. They asked about signs of forced entry. There weren't any. Asked about her mental health. Fine. I lied. I didn't tell them about Ian. Didn't tell them the messages. Didn't tell them I'd seen something move on her phone after she disappeared. Because the next morning, I opened Tinder out of impulse. I'd made an account just for fun. Weeks before, and saw a new notification. Bree had swiped right on me. Part 2. I stared at the screen for a long time. Bree has liked you. That wasn't possible. She was gone. No phone. No way to access her account. No way to swipe. But the match notification didn't go away. And when I tapped it, trembling, her profile loaded like nothing was wrong. Same name. Same photos. Same stupid bio. If you're not a Gemini, you might stand a chance. Except one thing had changed. A new photo. Not a mirror selfie. Not a vacation pic. It was a blurry shot. Looked like it had been taken recently. She was in our living room, sitting on the couch, facing away from the camera, wearing a hoodie I didn't recognize. I hadn't taken that photo, and she wasn't here to take it herself. I messaged the profile. Bree? Nothing. Then, 5 minutes later, she let me in. I nearly dropped my phone. My ears rang. My chest went tight. I typed, "Who is this? Where is she?" The reply came instantly. "She's part of me now." I reported the profile. Blocked it. Deleted the app. But that didn't stop anything. Because hours later, a new profile matched with me. No name. No photos. Just a gray circle and a blank bio. It sent one message. "Help me swipe." I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I kept thinking about the weird things Bree said before she vanished. The way she looked at me that last night. The way her whole personality shifted. Like someone else was slipping into her body. And now it felt like that same someone was trying to reach me. The police didn't help. They said Bree was likely an adult runaway. That she'd probably show up in a few days. That I shouldn't feed into online hysteria. I begged them to check the dating apps. To trace her account. They said they didn't have the resources for that. I went home feeling like I was going crazy. But I knew what I saw. So I did what I always swore I wouldn't. Opened Tinder again, this time. I swiped nonstop. Right. Looking for her. Looking for whatever used to be her. It took hours. But finally, the profile appeared. Name, Brianna. Full name. Not her usual nickname. Photo, the same couch shot from earlier, but now. She was looking directly at the camera, eyes glassy. Smile wrong, like a mask stretched too tight. I swiped right. Instant match. The chat opened. Without me even tapping, a message was already waiting. You were always her favorite. I didn't type anything. Another message came in. She didn't want to leave you, but you watched her change. And you let it happen, so now it's your turn. Swipe. Then the screen glitched. I'm serious. The app flickered like static across the UI, and without touching anything, the profile started swiping by itself. Right, 1. After another dot, it was using my account to find someone new. Another match. And then the final message came. You're ready. I deleted the app again, threw my phone across the room, broke down sobbing. Because no matter what I did, it was inside the account now. Not just hers. Mine too. Something was using Tinder as a way in, not just to talk, but to possess. To copy. To mimic. To replace. It didn't need your body, just your patterns, your face, your photos, your swiping habits, your words. Bree had let it in. Now it had her voice, and it was using her too. Find the next one. Me. The final proof came yesterday. Walked past a mirror in the hallway and stopped. Cold, because something was off about my reflection. My face was the same. Same clothes, but the expression was different. She was smiling. IWSN single quotes . And when I turned my head, the reflection kept looking forward, directly at me. Today, I got a text from an unknown number. Just one sentence. Can you help me swipe? And attached was a live photo. Me. Right now, sitting on the couch. Reading that exact message, taken from behind me.